The upper right corner of this one was, when the museum got it, a bit of blue sky, which confused the light and made no sense. They looked under it and found that it had originally been brown because that pigment of blue didn't exist in his time. But they couldn't remove it without damaging the painting, so they just painted over it. Also, I didn't think that this was such a fantastic painting for Vermeer, and we read that it's one of his earliest, and it doesn't have a special quality about it.
Ja, hetzelfde model, hè?
Ja.
Oh, met een bast hier inderdaad.
Is this cow looking at this frog? I think so. I think he is. A cow contemplating a frog. What? Oh, the cow dung? Oh yeah, the mayor of, who is it? New York would get very upset about cow dung in a painting. I'm going to check this out. I wonder if angels and cherubs are always male. These are. Here's one you've seen many times in books. I think the fascination in this, not just the light, but that the lightest and brightest person has the least feeling. Some things are prettier from a distance.
Did you hear about it? I did, but first,
And now we're heading to the Prison Gate Museum. Well, everything is nice and close here. That's where we were. This is where we are. And that's the Prison Gate Museum. But the next place I want to see, we have to take a bus. It's way over. It's by the water. The wealthy prisoners had this room with good food, bed, but they had to pay for it. And they had it to themselves. We just came from a little cell where the poor prisoners were locked up waiting sentence. They had no penitentiaries at that time. They had other forms of punishment. Penitentiaries came in a couple hundred years later. This is the debtor's room. They slept 2 and 3 to a bed. The one who they owed money to paid to keep them here. Well, this is the torture room, the rack.
Dit ding is in Den Haag 2 keer gebruikt om een meervoudige moordenaar zijn verdiende.
Only 2 murderers were executed on this. These are the execution tools.
Dan kon dat wel eens met zoiets.
Clubs. That's what I said, the execution tools. And if you could afford it, you could pay for that kind of execution.
En dit soort.
And this is where you were made to confess, because they couldn't punish you until you did.
Duimschroeven. Hier stond je dan. Het ding heeft een bodempje, een dekseltje, een moertje, een steeksleuteltje. Thumbscrew. Ten slotte,
This was to stretch the truth out of them.
Dan allerlei vervelende dingen met hem doen.
But this is for after they shave your head, then the water drips for a day or 2 until you confess. But the execution rack was taken outside because executions were public. always public. Now we're heading for a strip of beach called Schleifinger. Queen was here for Queen's Day and this sand sculpture was made for that. This gentleman has been showing us around his town. He's lived here all his life.
You can walk right through there or that way.
It's another sand castle from Queen's Day, but how does it last in the rain? And how long will it last? It must have something mixed with the sand or painted over it. This experiment, I'm going to try this with backlight and I'm going to put my glasses away so I can hold this better. I don't think it makes much difference. Wait a minute, backlight isn't on. Wait, I got backlight. Now with the backlight. This is a neat idea. All the bars and restaurants have patios that are protect people from the wind with glass. I mean, it's really cool up here where we're walking. We see people sunbathing all over. To add to my list of travel items, I need a chain to hang my sunglasses around my neck because I keep putting them in my left hand and then I can't take off my hat. Oh, I thought he was supposed to be peeing. See, this is a lot better this way. This is a swinging part of town at night. Oh, it's too bad we didn't get here an hour earlier. I think that sculpture museum would have been kind of fun. But it closes at 5 and we got there at 1 minute to 5. Yeah.
That's nice.
The beach itself is just a beachy beach.
I wish I drank.
Yeah, I wish you drank too. But the town itself is a nice old suburb. That man was so proud of his town, he just had to show us around. We're at a pizza bar and I got a salad bar, but you can only have one helping, so there it is. Really?
Yeah, I'm laughing and giggling and then,
Yeah.
then they moved
Look,
over there.
each one has a whole pizza, these guys. The kid looks just like his father. These two kids are the Cats and Jammer kids. The mother has no control. They go crazy. The car stops there and they run up, wave things in the windows. She says, up the stoop, up the stoop. These two. They're non-stop. Oh God. So these guys are into everything. Non-stop. The mother has given up completely. The mother is sitting right in front of me with the red hair. They're yelling back. The mother had to go chasing them, and now they're screaming their heads off. We're on our way back downtown. They're the two wildest kids we've ever seen. Ever. And I call them the Cats and Jammer kids because they look like them too. Friday evening is pretty bright. 10 of 7. Everybody's out. It's 8 o'clock. Georgine's sending some messages. And I'm gonna go sneak a candy bar behind her back. And I want to try that again because I had the backlight on. See if there's any difference. Nah, I counted my change and changed my mind. I've got to cash a few more dollars for our last day. Got just enough for breakfast tomorrow. And she's riding the Pushpa and Phyllis. Bet you anything she's got a line in there about me walking her to death. You know you're in Holland when you see this in front of a department store. Boy, I guess Friday night is shopping night. This is the next street up. We're about 2 blocks from our hotel. They told us to be careful, you take careful of your wallet. And I told them, yeah, I always do. So I guess they do have some pickpockets. But he said it's always crowded here at night. He warned me because he noticed this was open for my camera. He said this is all for young people. I said, okay, I guess we better go home. They have groups of cops at each square, each corner. It's 5 in the morning. Friday. This is our last day here. Well, we're on our way to Delft. I know. Looks like we have another really nice day. It's the first golf course I've seen here. A lot of the restaurants have boats in the canal for further eating, barges, yes. This is Delft, and it's a nice day. And we do get a lot of white-haired tourists around here. We could be with that elder hostel group. The zombie army. Oh, yeah, this is a big Holland thing. This place has 4 snooker tables, 1 pool table, 5 dartboards. It's a quiet enough town even with the tourists.
It says open.
Somebody just dumped their trash in this pretty little canal. And this morning during breakfast we had to listen to rap music. I don't know. Things are changing everywhere. It's almost like not leaving home in some ways. Except for the scenery and the museums and the weather. And the architecture and the canals. There's still a lot that make a trip worthwhile. But to be fair about it, that's the only place with trash. But the Blue Danube, it's not. Georgine's in the old church looking at some tombs. I think I know why Vermeer didn't get much painting done in his lifetime. He's buried at this church with 3 of his deceased children, and he left 11 more. Just imagine trying to paint when you have 11 children underfoot and you're living in poverty. Someone is getting married here. Why is this sculpting here with all these old buildings? This is really a good town for our last day. It's one that Georgine can stroll around quietly and easy. Boy, and on top of 14 children, he lived with his mother-in-law as well. Well, we don't have to read these sideways, this turns.